My name is Ermes Dajko. I work as a principal architect at Temenos. Temenos is one of the world's largest banking software providers. We have almost 1,000 clients around the globe, and we provide mission-critical systems predominantly around core banking, payments, digital engagement for customers, as well as financial crime. My role at Temenos is to work very closely with our customers and design solutions that are future-proof, especially around areas that have to do with AI, embedded finance, cloud onboarding as well. Help them get the most out of our platform, essentially. Banking is very data-rich. It's a very data-rich industry. AI is thriving on data, and banks hold most of it. So it is no surprise that banking, together with financial services, are the top industries that are massively out-investing everyone else when it comes to AI use cases. At the same time, I would say that a lot of processes and workflows in banking are still very manual, very repetitive, both processes that have to do with clients as well as internal processes. So the combination of data, a lot of manual processes, and repetitive tasks are the perfect combination where they are ripe for automation and disruption by AI. We speak to a lot of customers around the globe, and what we see is a trend where most of them are investing heavily in compliance and risk, because they see that those areas are very manual and they drive their massive cost centers. Banks have to stay compliant, so they really have to do it. So for most banks, it's seen as a cost center, and they see that as a low-hanging fruit where they can start getting quick outcomes and quick returns of their AI investment. Risk and compliance is not the only area. We see a lot of banks investing, of course, when it comes to digital, how they interact with customers, providing better experiences, improving their experiences, personalized product, and how to do personalized pricing and so on and so forth. But also internally with use cases that have to do with more IT management, case management, extracting data very quickly, doing reporting, analytics, and so on and so forth. So there's no one-size-fits-all approach. Every bank is different. They're solving different problems, but the top areas, I would say, it's risk and compliance and bringing down the cost of compliance overall. Every transformation program right now in banks is seen through increasingly more and more through the lens of AI. So no surprise there. What we see, however, and again, this is a trend that is we see emerging in our customers, but also in the market overall, is they're moving away from big transformation programs and into more granular, smaller, modular modernization approaches or programs. And again, instead of looking at big horizontal or vertical areas to modernize, they're looking now at a process or a workflow and they're asking, can this be done with AI? Can we automate this process with AI? Can we do it better or faster? So now AI is, of course, changing that transformation. And oftentimes that line of thinking leads them to ask the question, are their systems fit for purpose? And this is where they usually start having a conversation with us, be it for modernizing their core system or the payment system and so on and so forth. Surprisingly, and even the more traditional conservative banks that resisted the cloud onboarding or moving themselves to the cloud, they see that as something inevitable. Doing AI on-prem is very, very challenging, complicated, and oftentimes very expensive. So even the more conservative organizations right now start to leveraging AI services or capabilities through the cloud. At the same time, we see a massive, I would say an increase in banks looking for SaaS, onboarding themselves in a SaaS delivery model, not only because that's the predictable, safe way to onboard themselves to the cloud, but also in a way to future-proof themselves from disruptive technologies. Today's AI, something else tomorrow. The areas where AI is bringing more value is exactly the areas where banks are more cautious about. Take, for example, the AI-powered biometric facial recognition. So once banks started doing that, it removed a significant bottleneck in their digital onboarding of customers. So they could onboard more customers digitally, right? But this is exactly the area that right now, for example, is under risk because of deepfakes and identity theft, right? So it seems that for every problem that AI is solving is introducing another one, right? From the technological evolution standpoint. I'm not that really worried about banks, going with a mindset of trust but verify in every case where they're injecting AI in a process, be it for onboarding, be it for document management or intelligent decision making. But what we usually recommend, especially to our clients, is that because they are in a regulated industry and they have to absorb disruptive technologies in a regulated industry, every decision-making process that involves AI needs to be explainable and transparent. In other words, it needs to be responsible, not to inject bias, and so on and so forth. So it is interesting how, it brings benefits, it solves problems, but at the same time it introduces problems, and it's like a self-feeding cycle where a lot of things will happen with AI, and AI will start validating or verifying with human supervision in most cases, of course, those areas, be it for identity, be it for knowledge management, document management, and so on and so forth. I wouldn't pick a specific, because it seems that everyone seems to be on a treasure hunt of finding the perfect use case, and understandably so, right? They want to get quick returns. But what I see is a trend that particularly excites me, is a trend of banks actually starting to think how to become AI native in a similar way of like the 10, 15 years ago when the cloud was a thing and everyone was thinking of themselves how to become cloud native, move to the cloud and reap the benefits of the cloud. In a similar journey, it's like you cannot skip the ladder. You cannot just do AI. You have to transform yourself as a bank to be able to do AI. So for me, what excites me, although it's not very exciting as a topic, is the whole transformation, how to become AI native. Rethinking your mission critical apps, data extraction, security, how to put frameworks, how to do responsible AI models, explainable AI models, so that you can get to the point of to reap off the benefits of AI. In a parallel analogy, I would say, the biggest disruption in banking was probably, in business terms, PSD2, and that was like many years back. The last tech evolution in banking was cloud. For me, AI is like a combination of both, where you can, it's like a biz tech transformation, where banks start to rethink every little process, every little thing. And I would say that, contrary to what most people believe, it's not a problem finding a solution, but it's more like every little thing in the bank can have a full or partial AI solution. That's how I see it. I mean, in essence, rethink your data strategy, rethink how you do security, how you do explainability before you start injecting all of these things responsibly, right? It could be in customer journeys, it could be in internal processes. You have to trust, but also verify.